Hi everyone, Andrew Schultz, Principal Broker of Own Buffalo Inc. here. Today I'm coming to you with some breaking news. Here in New York State, Governor Cuomo has just signed an executive order that provides additional protections to tenants during the COVID-19 pandemic. And I wanted to run through those changes with you here today. So today is May 8th, 2020. This was signed yesterday, May 7th, 2020. I'm actually going to jump over to my desktop here in just a moment, and we're going to walk through this executive order step by step directly from the governor so that you're in the know as to what the law changes are moving forward with regards to tenant protections. Before we jump into that, I do want to preface this video by saying I'm not an attorney, I'm a property manager, and this is me looking at an executive order and giving my opinion on it. Speak to your attorney before you make any changes in your processes as a result of the information you're picking up here today. And with that said, we're going to jump over to the desktop and start taking a look at this executive order. I pulled this directly from Governor Cuomo's website. You can get this at governor.ny.gov. Just click on the press room link at the top, and this is one of his executive orders, 202.28, and this was signed yesterday, May 7th, 2020. I actually pulled up a PDF copy, 202.28, just so that I could highlight this a little bit better and walk through it step by step. Let's jump in. So this executive order runs until June 6, 2020. I expect that this executive order will have a continuation. As a matter of fact, I believe this executive order is a continuation of an existing executive order with some additions and modifications to it. So this is where we're at right now. This does run through June 6th. I do anticipate that that's going to be stretched out even further. I anticipate that this will be expanded. So let's jump in here. Landlords, I'm going to read the text as it's written on screen, and then I'll explain what I feel that it means as I'm reading it. Landlords and tenants or licensees of residential properties may, upon the consent of tenant or licensee, enter into a written agreement by which the security deposit and any interest accrued thereof shall be used to pay the rent that is in arrears or will become due. Essentially, tenants can use their security deposit towards a missed rent payment or a rent payment that is going to be missed in the future. Next point, landlords shall provide such relief to tenants or licensees who request it that are eligible for unemployment insurance or benefits under state or federal law or are otherwise facing financial hardship due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I find this interesting because I have no idea whether our tenants are responsible or are eligible for unemployment or other benefits or not. I'm not that vested in their lives, and we're certainly referring them to the unemployment office. But unemployment in New York State has been a mess since this thing rolled out, so the chances of them getting unemployment in a quick fashion is very, very slim. Otherwise facing financial hardship due to COVID-19 pandemic, pretty much everybody is facing some level of financial hardship due to the pandemic, whether you're still working or not. Something has changed in your life as a result of this pandemic. It shall be at the tenant or licensee's option to enter into such an agreement, and landlords shall not harass, threaten, or engage in any harmful act to compel such an agreement. If the tenant asks for it, you have to do it. Any security deposit used as a payment of rent shall be replenished by the tenant or licensee to be paid at the rate of 1/12 of the amount used as rent per month. Essentially what they're doing here is stretching that repayment period to 12 months. The payments to replenish the security deposit shall become due and owing no less than 90 days from the date of the usage of the security deposit as rent. The tenant gets a 90-day window before the payments begin. That's a 15-month period if we're counting at home. This next section, this is actually continuation of something that was already in place already. No landlord shall demand or be entitled to any payment, fee, or charge for late payment of rent occurring during the time period March 20th to August 20th. That was already in place. That's just an extension of the existing no late fee order. We'll scroll down a little bit, and this is where we get into the eviction section. This is a continuation of the existing executive order, barring any evictions. There shall be no initiation of a proceeding or enforcement of either an eviction of a residential or commercial tenant for non-payment of rent or a foreclosure of any residential or commercial mortgage for non-payment of such mortgage owed or rented by someone that is eligible for unemployment insurance or benefits under the state or federal law or otherwise facing financial hardship due to the COVID-19 pandemic for a period of 60 days beginning June 20th, 2020. So what this does is it extends the existing eviction moratorium in New York State ran to the end of, it ran to June 13th, I believe. And then this extends it from June 13th all the way out to the August 20th date. So that's what we're looking at here. That pretty much wraps up the executive order in a nutshell. I'm actually going to jump back to just the camera view here. I'm now going to express my personal opinion on this. Not something that I typically do. I try to keep my opinions out of the information that I convey as much as possible. I like to provide, you know, as accurate as possible factual information that people can look at and read and understand, you know, what they're looking at. Everything I'm saying, actually really everything I'm saying in this entire video is opinion because I'm not an attorney. I can't interpret this law. This is what I think, you know, of the law going forward. This is incredibly short-sighted. If you have a tenant that is in the middle of a lease or even at the beginning of a lease, and we'll use the beginning of the lease example. Let's say they move in, they pay 1 month of security deposit, and they pay their first month of rent. That's the maximum allowable in New York State at move-in per the current laws. In month 2, the tenant comes to you and says, I need to use my security deposit as rent. Okay. So you apply that security deposit to month 2. The tenant now has 90 days before they have to start making that repayment. So now we are in 5 months into the lease, okay? And then they have 12 months to make that payment in full. We're at 17 months. That's longer than a 12-month lease. Security deposits are going to be not replenished in the period of time. If a tenant moves out at the end of their lease term, their security deposit's not going to be replenished in full. That reduces the ability for the landlord to charge against the security deposit for damages, for unpaid utilities, things like that. Like this is really incredibly short-sighted. It puts landlords in an incredibly bad spot. It strains the landlord-tenant relationship. And frankly, the lease contract is between the landlord and the tenant. I don't understand how New York State can step in here and essentially say that they're going to override what our contract is with the tenant and make changes however they deem, you know, necessary. I know that there are landlord groups out there that will be advocating for a rollback on this, or at least some functions thereof, to make this at least a little bit more bearable, a little bit more workable. I strongly encourage you to stay informed on landlord-tenant laws if you are a property owner in the state of New York. You know, they're changing on a rapid pace. We are trying to provide as much information as we can, as quickly as we can. And the best way for you to keep in current status with what's going on is to follow us on social media. We do have we do have a weekly show, Ask a Property Manager, every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. That streams live on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Buffalo Foreclosed Homes. It also gets uploaded to our YouTube page, usually the same day, so you can catch it over there as well. Just go to YouTube, search for Own Buffalo. Those are the two main places that you're going to be catching most of that type of information. If you're looking for a little bit of lighter content, check out our Instagram page. One thing I do want to mention is if you're going to be impacted by this as a landlord, as a property owner, feel free to reach out to me. I'm offering free 30-minute consultations right now. Just by going over to our website at ownbuffalo.com, you can actually get a free 30-minute consultation with me. That is something, it's not like we're trying to pitch you on a product or a service that we offer here. It's literally me trying to help as many landlords as I can to make a difference. I will show you next week. We do have quite a few open slots for consultation. So if you need that help, please feel free to reach out and grab that. Guys, I do appreciate you taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Again, consult with your legal counsel before you make any changes to your policies and procedures based on the information you're hearing here today. I'm not an attorney. This is what I'm doing. You know, this is how I'm reading it. And I wanted to get this information out to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. Thanks so much for watching, and we will talk to you guys in the very, very near future. Stay safe, stay strong, and we'll talk to you soon.